myself as a leader at all, and I feel humbled when people like Nazira and other people that have been on my training courses send me emails and say, "Oh, Tracy, I've got a job, thanks to you." And it's like, I remember getting an email one morning from a lady who'd been on the Enabled to Work programme, and she was a South African lady, and she had not had, she'd been over in this country for about 5 years, but were finding it really difficult to get a job in nursing, which is what her qualification was in. And I remember feeling that email that I got from her that morning was better than a year's salary. It made me feel better than a year's salary to just think, gosh, I've directly impacted on somebody's life there, and that made me feel really humble, and it made me feel, but it also made me feel really, really good. In my younger days, it was always, I only felt as good as the response that I was getting from other people. So if people didn't tap me on the back and say you've done a good job, it was like I didn't feel that I'd done a good job. I'm very, very low in confidence again, which people who know me would think that I'm not, because I disguise that very well. I was born and brought up on one of what is claimed as the roughest council estates in Bradford. I went to the local school. I left with some qualifications, but I didn't have any aspirations whatsoever to go into any higher education. My dad forced me to go back to school to do A-levels, because I was the youngest of 4 daughters, and he pinned all his hopes on me to do, you know, get to that university, you know, get A-levels. And I left after 3 weeks because I knew it wasn't for me. What I've learned now, reflecting back, is you've got to do education when it's right for you. So at that age, when I left at 16, and I went to work in a veterinary practice because I love animals and I wanted to be a vet, but I wasn't clever enough to be a vet, so I worked as a veterinary nurse. And but what I've reflected on is education, you don't have to do it at a certain age. I went back into education in my late 20s, early 30s. I was actually bullied, that's the right word. I was bullied by my mentor at the time, Lynn Bradley. And Lynn Bradley, people may know of Lynn, she's worked a lot across Bradford. She's, I think, done a lot of work with Shaw Star. And Lynn was the most inspirational woman, and the biggest gift that Lynn gave to me, and I'll love her. I don't see her that much, but I'll love her and respect her and thank her for the actual impact she'd had on me as an individual for the rest of my life, because she had self-belief in me that I didn't have in myself. She could see things in me that I couldn't see in myself. So when I say she bullied me into going back into education, she did. She didn't really give me a choice. I said, oh, I can't, I've seen academic essays, I've seen how, I can't write like that, I'm not clever enough, blah, 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 blah. And she said, you're a great community development work, but you will always stay at this level because I don't agree with it, but you've got to have the qualification, because it doesn't matter how good you are. And this was, I'm 50 in 2 weeks, so this was 20 years ago. She said, it doesn't matter how good you are, you won't even get invited for interview if you haven't got the qualification. And by God, she were right. She forced me into doing it, but it's the best thing that I ever did. I then progressed in my career, and I don't know how many people do this, but I've never had a plan. No plan. I don't practice things, whatever comes out. Sometimes I think, oh, I don't have a filter sometimes, and I think, oh, I shouldn't have said that. It's come out and it needs to go back in, so I don't plan things. You know, I've been lucky. I went into health, I progressed. I didn't have a career plan. I ended up as the head of community development, and I didn't like the job. I didn't like the job. It was very well paid. I had the status. I loved being a community development worker. My favourite job was when I worked as a grassroots community development worker in Ollerton. And I had some of the most fantastic times there. I coerced 5 women into becoming new parents, into becoming community researchers, and it culminated with them doing a conference, a regional conference at the Midland Hotel. They did a presentation, they ran a workshop. All 5 of them wanted to kill me because they said, you never said we'd end up doing this when you came up to our parent and toddler group and coerced us into doing this. that made me feel really good. Then I've now moved to a place, I think, where I get that internal affirmation now. My next bold move was working as the head of community development made me ill. I'll share that. I suffered from depression. I had stress, anxiety. I almost had a nervous breakdown. I had 4 months off work, 4 months back at work, 4 months off work. And I tried my best to make changes within the organisation, within the team that I worked, and I felt that I was just fighting a losing battle. And I'm not afraid, and I know this has been streamed live, to say that I suffer from depression, because I used to be one of the people that added to the stigma. Because I worked as a professional and a high-paid professional, I used to hide my history of depression because I thought I would be judged about my capability to do the job. I won't add to that stigma anymore. I am a professional woman. I am now self-employed. I've been self-employed successfully for the 5.5 years, having taken the bold decision to leave my high-paid job with its status in health, because actually my mental well-being and my family was much more important to me than any amount of money or status. And as I say, that was the bold move. So I decided, actually I've come away from this a bit bruised and battered. What do I want to do? And I thought, I'm a good networker. I love networking. Absolutely love networking. Networking has been really successful because in my 5.5 years, so I sat back and I went on holiday for 2 weeks, and I came back with gusto, and I thought, right, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to just see what's out there, see if I can be self-employed. And I don't earn as much as I did. I probably earn half of what I did. But by God, I am happier, I am healthier. My family's mental health is improved as a result of my improved mental health, because they don't have to worry about me. And actually, I'm really proud that for the past 5.5 years, I have gone out and I have earned my own money. And I've never applied for a contract. I've always got work through word of mouth. So networking is great. So the message I'd leave is, sometimes it's really scary to make bold changes. But a wise man, John Breen, who I love to bits as well, and I know this is a International Women's Day, but I'm going to talk about John as well because John's a good friend of mine. And he said to me, Tracy, you only regret the decisions in life that you don't make. And actually, I'd agree with that. So it's a hard decision to make, but I made it and I've never ever regretted it. I don't say I won't ever go back into paid employment, and I won't ever want to go back and work in health, and I've still stayed in health. A lot of the work that I've done in my self-employed status has been around health, because you never say never. And I just think I've had great times for the last 5.5 years. I enjoy every day that I've got, because I don't know how long it's going to last, because I might not get work next month or next week, and I might have to look for paid employment again. But I know now that I've got that confidence within myself, because there was nobody else to share. When you get direct feedback, especially when you're self-employed, it's as a result of the work that you've done. So that's helped me to build in that internal thing. So I have a little Mildred, I call her Mildred, every so often, she still pops up on my shoulder, and I just think, oh, go away and beat her down. I'm not listening to you. You're rubbish, you can't do it. Everybody thinks you're rubbish. So if you've got a Mildred on your shoulder, just tell her to quieten down a little bit, because have that belief in yourself, and actually don't not make decisions that you think are right, because they're the ones that you'll come to regret. If you get a gut feeling that it's time to move on, time to do something different, go with it. Have the courage of your conviction and go with it, and good things will follow.